Hello my friends, welcome to episode 5. The motor pool is closed. So I've just done some boring donkey work, and that is I've repaired all my stuff. I've removed all my heroes, and I have sold all of my my stashed stuff. So by stashed stuff, I mean I've sold all of my anti-aircraft guns and cavalry that I was keeping to one side for the pure purposes of stockpiling money or hiding money from the tax authorities. Okay, so the reason why I unequipped everything. This is a good mission to sort of take stock of the situation of where we are and to go over everything. This mission is an opportunity to farm experience. And in case you don't know, experience is based on the amount of prestige that a unit has left and how much damage you do to it. So you'll note here that these training dummies have a huge amount of prestige in their costs, and they have a huge amount of casualties as well. So that number is not going to go down. And then you have like a wall of turrets here. Now, it is possible to train other units other than paratroopers here. It is actually possible to train something that is much harder to train than infantry. So, but before we get to that, let me just show you guys my current lineup of things. So, if we look at my reservists, which is this represents everything at the moment. If you look at this, you will notice that the infantry that have seen action, and I haven't used a lot of infantry at this point, but the pioneers and the Azul infantry are basically maxed out for this campaign. We can go up to 3.5 in this campaign, but 3-star is pretty solid. And you'll note that most of the bridge engineers that I've used for various things I've gained like a star or so, even though they've not really seen much direct combat. They've just been used as blockers and meat shields and hold areas. Then you'll see that tanks have all got reasonable amounts of EXP. I have a few spare tanks here that have just seen some light action, but nothing too major. And of course we've got our veterancy stripe on quite a few of them. We've got our recon cars. Many of which are very experienced, because recon cars just rack up experience like crazy. And don't forget that a number of these started off life as recon cars and then got moved over so that they could be veterans. That strategy of training Steamroller onto tanks and then swapping them to be recon cars, obviously it gets more powerful as the campaign goes on, because it costs precisely 1 experience star to do that. And 1 experience star means less and less as you go along, because the amount of prestige being thrown around is much higher, which means things level up faster. And also, losing 1 star when you're a 5-star unit is only 20% of your EXP. When you're a 3-star unit, of course, it's 1/3 of your EXP, so it makes a big difference. Anyway, we got plenty of experienced tanks. But what you will notice is, in terms of anti-tank guns, some of the artillery, not all, and anti-aircraft guns, we have had trouble putting experience points onto these. And of course, putting experience points onto aircraft has been relatively easy. So, don't get me wrong, it's not a mistake. It is in no way a mistake to level up a load of infantry on this mission. That is what this mission is for leveling up infantry. So you certainly want to do that. You have 5 airplanes to use, although obviously you can recycle them. You've only got 7 turns. So what you really want to do is you want to get your paratroopers and just go across the map and attack the dummies as quickly as possible. You know, there's experience points to be had for attacking all of these areas, but I don't think that that's worth your time or effort, really. I think you're better off just going straight for the throat here, straight for the experience points. Now, there is an airfield here. So what that means is that you can bring along some anything light that could be transported by aircraft. So you could start with, say, an anti-aircraft gun or an anti-tank gun or whatever here, and you can airlift those items to this airport. And then once they're landed, you can bring them in here to attack. It's still going to take some turns, though. Well, you can load and fly, so you can load and fly and get like here, no problem. And then you can land and unload and get down here. And then you might have to make because the lightest guns can move two tiles, so you might be able to get here or here. So anyway, those are just there are things that you can do that isn't necessarily leveling up infantry if you want to diversify your experience points a bit. And if you're going to do that, then you probably want to move anti-aircraft guns around. It is interesting to me. It is interesting to me that, so if you try and change a recon car to something, you can change it to tanks or an anti-tank gun. And if you try and change a tank to something, it's the same deal. But if you then want to change an anti-tank, it can become an anti-air or an artillery. And you have the same issue here that, you know, artillery and anti-air cannot move anywhere except to these areas. So what that means is, or you know, where that's potentially interesting is you can actually move Steamroller onto other units if you wish. I wouldn't say that Steamroller is necessarily like uber exciting on artillery or anti-aircraft guns, but there is potential there, because if you have Steamroller on an anti-aircraft gun, and you put like lethal on it or whatever, so it can actually one-shot aircraft, you can then get a Steamroller attack and potentially then hit another aircraft and repeat the process. So, you know, there are a lot of actual funny little tricks that you can do. And if you want to do those funny little tricks, this might be the mission to level them up. Because you're going to lose all your you will lose all your EXP doing it. That's the bottom line. So if I were to for example, I guess the best thing to do would be to move a tank. Feels a little bit wasteful, but anyway. If I was to take this tank and turn it into an anti-tank gun, now it retains my anti-tank trait. Obviously, I've lost a star of experience for moving it here. Now, if I wanted to create a future anti-aircraft gun that has steamroller, or I could just keep it as an anti-tank. You can see here that I can now move it to become something else. But if you are going to do it with artillery, then you potentially want to do it with a 7.5 flak, because that can be airlifted. So you can airlift that to the front line. And you'll note now that obviously we lost all of our experience points doing this, but we have kept steamroller and soft attack. Of course, you don't have to do any of this if you've got the overrun hero, but he is difficult to obtain. Okay, so let's move this one. And this, I'm not sure if this can be airlifted, but this definitely can be airlifted. I'm not 100% sure if this can be airlifted as well. Well, let's try it. Okay, alright. So yeah, there's potential to move steamroller around, which is worth doing because it's a really good trait. I just wish that you didn't have to sacrifice all your EXP to do it, but we will get that EXP back, and I will show you guys how. So one thing that we will do for these ones is you have plenty of core slots here. What you don't have is transports and time, and these are actually not expensive units, so I don't think you can air transport it with its actual air transport, but I will over strengthen these to max. Now, by over-strengthening these to max, I'm going to do more damage, and by doing more damage, I'm going to get more experience points. Now, obviously with the artillery, you need lethal to pull this off, so we're going to put fast learner on this one because it's going to be the slowest to level up, and we're going to put lethal on it. And we will also... no, we won't put fast deployment on this one because... once we drop it off, it will be able to fire, and it will also be able to move one space. It should reach. Might be better off putting fast deployment on the AA gun. But then again, that can move and shoot as well. These can move 2 spaces and shoot, so I guess it actually doesn't really matter for either of them. Okay, and with this bad boy, it will obviously gain experience if you increase its lethality any. So let's go with ignorance entrenchment. Let's go with double attack, and we'll put aiming assistance on as well. So we're gonna airlift these bad boys straight to the front. Let's just hope that airlifting hasn't been disabled, otherwise I'm going to look stupid. If airlifting has been disabled, then I'm going to look like an idiot. Okay, so we obviously want to level up some of our actual infantry here. We're going to maximally overstrengthen this one. Obviously no transport because otherwise it can't fly. And then we're going to put no slots on this one. We're overstrengthening because it means we do more damage, and more damage means more experience points. It's that simple. Obviously, the paratroopers are more expensive than in terms of slot cost. They're more expensive than the other units. Reduced slots. Might see about bringing some more, potentially moving some other units across as well. Unfortunately, double cross-classing is really harsh on the old experienced stars, and we only have this one opportunity here to abuse the system. But we do have some. It is potentially worth leveling up some of these anti-aircraft guns, as well as paratroopers. Right, let's get back to work. So, let's upgrade these guys. I have one last half strength slots guy, I think. There he is. We'll also put our super infantry guy on here. I guess you can obviously stick legendary back on because that will generate free prestige for us. We have to bring one fighter. Because we've got to deal with the enemy fighters here. I think I have. Okay, I do have an aircraft upgrade. I'm gonna go through all the upgrades on the next mission. It's not pertinent to this one. I really would have liked to have gotten my hands on an overrun hero actually, because that saves all this cross-classing. This is a Condor Legion camo, but I can't seem to actually find the right one. Hang on. Huh, it's a bomber camo that I'm using, that's funny. Oh, of course, because it's a different plane, it just looks different. Okay. So for this one, we're going to need our buddy Gallant. Do you know, I've always wondered, and I should have tested it really. Albert Kirscher. He's anti-tank only. But it makes me wonder, could you cross-class him to a different... If you cross-classed him to infantry, say, or to anti-air or something else, would he still work? Well, we can test that at another time. I mean, I can't think of a reason to move him, to cross-class him to a different unit, really, because he kind of suits those units. Right, no retaliation, obviously, because it's literally going to be the only unit fighting. I do have a spare fast deployment, okay. Strikes first when defending, that will be useful too. Okay, off you go. I don't know if he's strong enough to actually one-shot those fighters, but I guess we're here for training, so... Let's I don't need aggressive deployment for this because I've got no transport for it anyway, so what, you know, why care? Okay. 5 paratroopers is meant to be the limit of what you're supposed to be able to get away with on this mission, but obviously we had some no-slot dudes. So we got away with it. We got away with murder, as it were. I'm gonna air transport these to the front line. This unit is actually overstrengthed. Unnecessarily overstrengthed. Okay, and there's our 5 paratroopers. And that's pretty much as we can get away with on this mission. But we got away with quite a lot. So now we're going to farm these guys up. Now, you could, with the half-slot guys, you could have them at standard strength, which would save you, I think, 2 slots. You'll obviously earn less EXP doing that. Especially for this one. But that might be something that you choose to do if you want to bring more light units. You know, I have a selection of artillery here that could really do with some experience points, like this one. Just remember that you can only bring what is considered to be light artillery, which would be this. So I could bring this, for example. I think I will. I think that's actually worth it. Let's do it. We can put... I don't think any of these will be useful. I'll put field repairs on just in case those fighters do some damage. I don't think any of these are that useful. Leadership might result in some free experience points. Okay, as our paratroopers are ready to go. I did not bring an anti-tank gun, so I cannot deploy the anti-tank hero. And that's fine. Yeah, I really wanted to go through, you know, why it makes sense to do this effectively. Do you know, at standard strength, this guy is actually only 3 slots. And I think this one, at this strength level, is 4. But then I'd have to chop and change the heroes around, and I'd only get 1 point out of it, which would probably not be that useful. Okay, I talked about quite a lot of tricks during this deployment. So I hope that they're useful and they're structured in such a way that you learn something here. 7 turns of this, farming EXP. Probably not the most interesting battle in the world. But let's go. Let's just double check those heroes and make sure that none of them are useful in any minor way. Ignores zone of control. Aggressive counterattack. Aggressive counterattack might be useful on... none of these are useful. Aggressive counterattack might be useful on the fighter though. But there's no real place to put it. No, we're done. Okay, so you want to, you know, there's money to be had here, but who cares? You want to be in here farming the experience points as quickly as possible. Now, these 2 that are deployed up here can actually get into position immediately. And what that does is that allows you then to airlift your artillery. Now, what is interesting is that you can actually... it's exactly the right distance to land at this airport if you really want to grab those extra prestige points. I don't particularly care. It's like 50 prestige. Gallon's going to gain some good EXP this mission. Off you go, boys. Just be a little bit careful here, because these bunkers will actually still attack you and inflict real casualties. You should have no problem deploying all of your troops in this area. And with that done, you can load these guys up. So you can see here that you would be able to add an additional 2 light units, as in light artillery or light anti-tank or whatever, to train them up if you wanted to, and still get your 5 paratroopers. This mission is designed for you to train up 5 paratroopers, and over-strengthening them and giving them all your offensive heroes, not that I have many offensive heroes, will allow you to train them up to max pretty readily. But you can, if you've got 0 slot heroes, if you're just careful with your core slots, you can potentially bring along up to 5 light units, like light artillery or light anti-tank, and even cross-class them with steamroller or whatever, and get them right back up to their to the experience points that nature intended. Which is something I will soon show you. Now, the only thing is that these fighters will probably go for these. There are no supply hexes, so let's just hope that they don't hurt me too much. Okay, that's alright. I can really damage this guy, or I can make sure that this one dies. So yeah, obviously I took some hits on the double strike one. That does suck. But I'll get over it. Once it's landed, we'll be able to get attacking. I could have escorted them. That might have been a little bit more sensible. But anyway, yeah, I'll show you guys. So, as you can see here, the EXP is based on damage. So what that means is you kind of want to do as much damage as possible. So that means you want to organize all your units into positions so that they get as many bonuses as possible. These bunkers are not worth attacking unless you have to. And in this case, I think I may have to because they're in the way. This one in particular is in the way. So this unit here will gain experience points more easily than the others. So let's just get rid of this. So you can see we gained basically no experience points for killing that. Boom. It's like 1000 EXP right there. 330. 8 damage. 859. So about 500 for 8. 88. 702. So like 620 for 8. I must have your ear for one moment. Now your training exercise here is supposed to be a secret, and I probably shouldn't have snuck out to Vienna to come, so let's keep this conversation between you and I, yeah? Convinced your dog, Wagner, has been eating my repeated applications for a combat transfer. Here I am to make my case in person. Oh, Rudel's coming soon. Okay, so I'll land this artillery first, I think. Won't be able to fire this turn. But we will be in position for next turn. Oh, that's amusing. Ha! Revenge is sweet. A few extra points of airplane kill there. So, as we saw earlier, about 8 damage was worth about 600 EXP. Now, if you see 10 damage, is going to bring us from 100 to nearly 800. So, well, 782. So 682. So the extra two damage was worth about 100 EXP, and that's the difference. And you'll see here now. This will be the most egregious example. 1,100 EXP, 16 casualties. It's 540, something like that. I think EXP slows down the higher level you are as well, so that's the other factor that's messing up the calculations here. But anyway, as it stands, we are going to farm a huge amount of experience points here, so. Okay. A controversial proposal has been put forward. Female auxiliaries will be deployed to supporting units. So you get the... This is the... I'm definitely going to take her. This is the female hero, which you can decline if you feel like it's not historical. It was historical for the British, and it was historical for the Russians, but it wasn't really historical for any other country particularly. The British deployed women en masse to anti-aircraft divisions, into support divisions. Not artillery particularly, but anti-aircraft definitely. And the Russians just deployed women throughout the war. It was as simple as that. The Russians operated women in frontline roles, even as snipers, and there are some particularly famous female Russian snipers. The Russians were actually really progressive on this one thing. I think the British had women serving in auxiliary and support for a long time. As the situation in the UK became more desperate, women moved from, positions of working in the medical corps and the logistics corps to actually working, actually working weapons, anti-aircraft weapons, home guard, that kind of thing. Little bit early, but I don't think Germany ever tried to employ women at all. Lat. Okay, so now the time has come. Now we can only get 3 kills here, but it's still not bad. 99 EXP. Boom! 500 EXP basically. Not bad at all for a unit that is so desperately difficult to level up normally. Wow, from 0 to 1064 in a single shot. That's amazing. So we're going to have a steamroller artillery. You saw it here first. We will have that up to maximum by the time this is over. Now this artillery, obviously, it doesn't have lethal, so it's not going to get the same. But it did gain 300 EXP, so that's not bad. So yeah, I mean, I could have squeezed out another paratrooper or two here, but there is a potential here to cross-class steamroller onto artillery or anti-aircraft gun, and then get its experience back up after you've finished cross-classing it. yeah, I forgot he's got double strike, so we really are going to get some leveling done. Ha! I forgot to double strike that aircraft earlier. Unfortunately, Galland has really got nothing that he can do now. None of these bunkers can be damaged by a fighter plane. We can bring him over here and see if we can get some damage on some of these. He does have aiming assistance, so maybe I can position him here and we can do a little bit of aiming assistance work. Oh yeah, show me the EXP. This guy's got aiming assistance as well, so maybe do a little bit of shuffling around to get that aiming assistance. It's not a big deal. Aiming assistance is like a flat amount of EXP, which is why it's great. Why it helps recon cars level so fast in a campaign with slow EXP growth. In this mission, it's really not that important. So you'll note here that most of these guys are getting very close to maxing out now. Can you hurt? Okay, sure. Why not? Hey, not bad. About 300 EXP. Now, obviously, I can now shuffle to get my extra aiming bonuses. See? Oof! Look at that! Look at that glorious experience. Look at that, we cross-classed. We cross-classed this anti-aircraft gun with a steamroller unit. And it's already got more experience points than it had before we started cross-classing it. And our cross-classed artillery, which has also gained steamroller, is also now got more experience than it started with. So, I have some disgusting strategies for you here. I think by the end of this, all of these units are going to be maxed out. 3-star is as far... well, 3.5 stars as far as you can go in this campaign. Obviously, 3-star, I think, is the last bit where it actually matters. I think you might get 5% accuracy in half-star amounts. It's not the greatest amount of EXP in the world. Oof. 2.8, not bad at all. Nearly 3. That's well impressive. 3.28. You can see the difference. The overstrengthed units are nearly maxing out. Sadly, I just didn't have really many offensive heroes to really farm up with. Okay, and that is it. So yeah, I was really looking forward to doing this one because doing this mission because I just really wanted to show you guys that you can actually do some really clever cross-classing here and actually pull some cheese out of your backside on this mission to level up units that you wouldn't have thought about. Now, you know, there is a certain... you know, there's nothing wrong with using this mission to level up infantry. That's what it's for. But there are opportunities here to creatively use your heroes and your air towable light units to stick some extra experience points in the pockets of units that are actually a little bit harder to level up. Okay, so historically, Germany used the Czech defenses to train their troops. Seems reasonable to me. All right, Belgium or the Netherlands? Maximum priority on paratrooper, infantry and aircraft operations expected in the Netherlands. Some paratrooper operations, but traditional tank combat expected in Belgium. I am personally not the biggest fan of paratrooper, infantry and aircraft operations, to be fair. So let's go with Belgium. Okay, that is it for now anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you'll be joining me next time for Belgium. And I hope you guys learned something. I think that's a very interesting episode to learn some tricks from. And there will be future training missions. These tricks can be used in those too. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Wow. Yeah, I mean, does anyone really want to see this? Our operation is twofold. Kill this and kill that. Okay, yeah. So anyway, the plot is here. It's recorded if you really want to read it. But we'll be going over the details of this mission anyway in the next episode, in the deployment episode. Hey, that's not bad. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time.